iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. Hello and welcome to yet another serving of the very exciting iAfrica, where we take you through a round trip through Zimbabwe and hopefully encourage you to visit Zimbabwe and Africa. On today's exciting episode, we have three individuals that are pushing boundaries in their art forms. First, we chat to Hermit Art, an artist who does fine painting but also is using his artistry to get into therapy. The second one, we chat to Ace, one other individual who's pushing the boundaries when it comes to comedy in Zimbabwe. And we close it off with one female artist who has traveled all around the world pushing the narrative of Mbira music. I am your host, Nicole Jama, and I hope in this serving of iAfrica, you will stay with me as we continue telling the African narrative. iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. As mentioned earlier on, in the first segment of iAfrica today, we talked to Hermit Muyambo, an artist who we are very keen to find out how he got on his artistic journey and his contribution to the society.
My name is Hermit Muyambo. I'm an artist. I do painting, drawing, and sculpture. I started doing art from a very tender age when I was still very young, from primary school. Generally, it was a hobby that I then turned into a career much later in my life. So, yeah, that's how I started art. I started from a very young age. Yes, I had always known that I wanted to be an artist. The difference that happened between me being an artist and doing other things in life is at that time, art was not really something that would turn out to be a career. I did other things, was to be encouraged to do other career paths that are not art. And then much later in life, after doing work in the corporate sector, I did automotive engineering, I did procurement, I did management. I later decided to be an artist. That's about 14 years ago. My parents were not really supportive, neither were they against. They just left me to do my thing. And they didn't think it's a career path that I can take. So that's why I was encouraged to do other things, but I kept on doing my art by the side. It was just like my hobby. I think if you look at what changed over the years, the genres in art, be it music, be it visual, they started to pop up what I would call stars, and they were living by example, and people started to appreciate that you can actually live off art. And it was really hard for people to accept that, but because of the proof that was there, that other people are surviving through it, it actually made people to adjust and then accept art as a career. As an artist, what sets me apart from other artists is I'm very versatile. Like I said in the beginning, I do drawings, which is like portraiture. I did that. That's how I got into the industry. I started doing portraiture because I knew everyone appreciates their face. So that's what I started doing. Later on, I moved into other art forms. Like these days, I'm doing sculpture. I started doing sculpture, and it's being received very well. The other thing is my approach to the art industry right now is where I find need that needs to be addressed. These days, I'm doing art therapy with disadvantaged girls, teenage mothers, teenage pregnant girls. So that sets me apart from any other artist because of the versatility that I think I have. Advice to young artists or those who want to pursue art as a career is you need to know the business part. Just being an artist, talent is not enough. Hence my speaking of versatility and understanding what brings the bread. Sometimes you'll be forced to do the things that are not very popular in your genre of visual arts just to survive. So I would advise that you need to understand the business and the model that you're using, and also to know your customer. So the business aspect is what is more important. Otherwise, you might have your talent and you might not monetize it. And yeah, that's what I would say.
That was the chat that we had with Hermit Muyambo. As you have seen for yourself, art is not just art for the sake of art, but it can be an art form for life-changing situations. That was the conversation that we had, but we still have more coming up in the second segment of iAfrica.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent.
We have just come from hearing the story of a painter, but now we delve into the world of comedy, one that is not very common when we speak of comedy in Zimbabwe.
Like the other day I was reading about this Portuguese pastor who's a man who preaches when he goes to the Akas, ladies' heels. Exactly. Apparently to him, he had the men's shoes hurt his feet. So now he claimed that he had a vision. And in this vision, God told him to start wearing ladies' heels. Taking a whole new meaning to the phrase, healed by the word of God. What else is going on in the world? What else is going on that's weird? So you look like a person who likes weird things.
Comedian Nyasha, in 3 words, is a comedy enthusiast, which also translates to my stage name, ACE.
A comedy enthusiast?
Yeah, comedy enthusiast, because that's who I am. I love comedy, all things comedy. If it's funny and if it's for a good laugh, hey, I'm all for it. Even if it's at my expense, yeah, I'm all for it. Always no, not really. Not no. Maybe not no consciously no, maybe subconsciously no, yeah.
Have you ever always felt like you're funny?
Yes, I've always felt like I'm funny. I think that's my best attribute. That's my only attribute, in fact. That I'm fun, that at least I make people laugh. I think that's my only purpose here on earth. Outside of that, I'm quite useless. So don't call me for a fight. Oh yeah, doing comedy in Zimbabwe is... and in short, I'm trying to be as short as possible. It's a challenge. It's a struggle, but it's fun at the same time. It has its moments. There's some shows where it's just like 2 people and you ask yourself, why am I doing this? And then there's some shows where you leave really happy, people enjoy the show, you see people smiling, people laughing, and you're like, it's all worth it. Yeah, that's how it is. So how long have I been doing comedy? Well, longer than I would like to admit in public, but yeah, let's just say probably since 2000. Okay, I've first time I went on stage 2016. First time I was like, now I'm doing it professionally, probably 2019, 2020. And then the second part was, I forgot the second part. Yeah, so 2018, 2020, professionally. Then the second part of your question. Well, the biggest lesson is at least I get to do something I'm happy doing. I get to sleep at night happy with myself. I get to sleep with a clear conscience. As it might not be materially satisfying, but it's spiritually satisfying, like for my soul. Like I'm content. I'm happy. So that biggest lesson was content over. We all want money, but yes, I'm happy. I'm happy with what I do. Yeah, Trevor Noah was a bit, by the time I met Trevor Noah, or like when people started knowing Trevor Noah with the Daywalker specials, the person who inspired me to do comedy, yeah, there's a lot. I would say there's Jamie Foxx, because I used to watch his old specials, and the Martin series played a big influence. The old Martin series, because there used to be reruns on ZBC, and I used to watch those, like, I remember it was at 5 in the evening during weekends, and I would watch a lot of those, and yeah, just what Martin used to do, and then I would go and do that in class or at home, and it would make people laugh, and I would recognize that, people now recognize me through that, like people are actually looking at me, as in noticing me. Yeah. My aspirations as a comedian, as a stand-up comedian, I'd like to see my aspirations personally I would like to get to a point where I do stand-up comedy almost every night, where that's the only thing I'm doing. Like right now, because comedy is not that big in Zimbabwe. I have to do a lot of things. You've got copywriting, and all that other stuff on the side. But my aspiration is to get to a point where my whole life is just jokes. My life's already a joke, but I want to get to a point where my jokes about my life. Yeah, that's where it's just performing stand-up comedy at night and probably writing comedy for sketches or some show during the day. But yeah, just where it's comedy 24/7. Do I think Zimbabwe will get to a point where comedy is a cultural attribute? Yeah. Actually, I do. Do I think we'll get there in my lifetime? I hope so. But I actually do, because the people who do then get to know that there's stand-up comedy in Zimbabwe tend to stay around longer. Like, they actually like, oh, I didn't know the stand-up comedy in Zim. Where do you guys do shows? I'd like to be. And then you start seeing them more frequently, and they sort of like become acquaintances. I don't want to say friends, because then I'll be too friendly, but yeah, then you see each other frequently. So I believe if there were more comedians that balanced out, like if there's a variety of comedians, definitely it would grow. And definitely that will happen. Will it happen in this lifetime, like within the next 10, 15 years? I hope so. 15 years, yes. 10, I'm not sure. I don't know. I hope so.
Like the other day I was reading about this talk which is pastor, who's a man who preaches when he goes to the hackers, ladies' heels. Exactly. Apparently to him, he had the men's shoes hurt his feet. So now he claimed that he had a vision. And in this vision, God told him to start wearing ladies' heels. Taking a whole new meaning to the phrase, healed by the word of God. What else is going on in the world? What else is going on that's weird? So you look like a person who likes weird things.
So that was the story of Nyasha Alouis, one individual who is always known that he is a funny individual, but not only has he been making Zimbabweans laugh, but is also fighting to tell the Zimbabwean story.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent. iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent.
One instrument that definitely defines the history of Zimbabwe is the Mbira. And on today's episode, we feature a young lady who is pushing the narrative of Mbira, having gained inspiration from names like Chuniso Maraire. Her name is Sanichi, and just like her name says, she is just a ray of sunshine.
So my name is Tanaka Samantha Chikati. I was born into a family of people that just love music. So we would sing in church, in the choirs, and I'd sing at school. So I actually started playing Mbira when I was 9 years old. So it was just an instant connection with the Mbira, and I've been in it ever since. Yeah, so I know you were thinking Chinese when you heard Sanichi, which is so funny because when people hear Tanaka, they think Japanese. So no one really ever knows. But Sunny, I was like, I'm bubbly. I'm like the sun. I love the sunshine and Chikati. So Sunny for sun, Chikati. So when I was 9, we had a music festival where we could choose from an array of instruments. There were violins, saxophones, pianos, and we were told you could choose any instrument you want to learn. But then I saw the Mbira and I was like, oh my gosh, this instrument is so different. It is unique. It is our Zimbabwean identity. It's an instrument that was literally made by the Shona people. So to me, it resonates in terms of culture, my identity, because wherever I go in the world, I can just proudly say that I play the Mbira, a Zimbabwean instrument, one that is unique to our country and to our identity. Yeah, so currently I'm studying music at Dartmouth College in America, and I'm the only person who plays the Mbira, which is a bit overwhelming, but they love the Mbira. I've actually been awarded a fund that allowed me to study the Mbira even more, and the money that they gave me is going towards my album launch on the 7th of December. So they adore Zimbabwean music and Mbira music. Oh my gosh, the pressure is real because the Mbira industry has gurus such as the late Chiwoniso Maraire, who I'm very happy to say people have listened to my song and are likening me to her. So that's comforting. But it meant that when I was composing, when I was trying to go through the production, I definitely took my work seriously because we respect the Mbira instrument, we respect the gurus that we have, and Oliver Mtukudzi also. So coming from such a rich foundation, the shoulders of the gurus I'm standing on, I just had to make sure that my work is of a beautiful standard to match up to the grades. Oh, it's so amazing because there are so many things about music that I just thought I knew, but once you start learning about them, it's crazy. I've been learning how to make music on my computer, how to produce my own music. I've been learning the different styles like Afrofuturism in music, using distortion and just the technical terms. So I feel it's amazing and really important to study music because you get really deep into some of the things you didn't even know about. Ooh, yes, so expect an album in December. On the 7th of December, I'll be launching a 3-track EP titled Midzi. So it's about our roots and really embracing our culture. And to everyone who is thinking about studying music or who is in the music industry, I say you should do it. Get your voice out there, get your message out there. Whatever you have to share, you are the only person who can share it, and we need to hear it. That's all.
So that was the conversation that we had with the young, energetic Sanichi. And I hope today, if you haven't listened to Mbira's song, she will inspire you to listen to one. Be sure to join us in the next and final segment as we give you another groundbreaking artist.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent.
On this segment, we chat to another young artist, Tawanda Madonera, hailing from Manicaland and having come to Harare to pursue a dream in art.
My name is Tawanda Madonera. I am an artist. Well, I started drawing when I was very young, but then I moved to Harare, where I met Hermit Muyambo and Tawanda waited. Vakazondidzisa kuti ndi perfect skill yangu yeart. When I draw, ndinoita ma-portraits emhuka, vanhu, even wildlife. Anything chinorelata nekudrowa chese ndinongoita.
So what would you say inspired you to start drawing?
Well, I was inspired, like I said before, by Hermit Muyambo and Tawanda waited. Pandakaona my works ake I meet pa Borodeo semi-live. I just said to myself, ndifana kubuno draw futhi kumba. And from there ndakatanga kutongoita art up to now. Well, pandinomuka nchiti nhasi ndakudraw kana ndakuita anything about art. At times it could be my commissions, vanhu vanongoshaudrawirwa ma-portraits or in inspiration, but I just feel like I need to draw something from head or anything chandikuona panguva idzodzo, then ndotanga kudraw depending on the mood that I am musiwo. Well, as you can see, this is still work in progress. Like nhasi ndatobhoipedza kuita ipapo ndichiri kumboipusha mbichana, but it took me about 3 to 4 days kuti ndisvike pandave apa, saka ndichiri kuramba ndichimboipusha, and it takes time since nechida kunatsa kucapture likeness yemunhu nedetail rinenge riri rekuface. Well, my family has always been supportive, although at times munongoziva kuti it's very hard for people to accept an artist, but dzimweni nguva anosupporta kuona zvinhu zvakufamba, unoona kupa help achisupporta in everything that I do, but dzimweni nguva zvinhu zvinenge zvakatovaomera kuti but hapana chiri kubuda, paunoona zvinhu zvakubuda panowa kudini vakusupporta, but at least something is coming out of zvaunenge uchiita izvozvo. Well, people like my art zvekudaro, and someone to support through kuita macommissions nevamwe vanotouya chiti tinobetserawo pakati, ingava kuri kudesigna kana kuti kudini, but I think kuti maybe vanhu vakanyanya kueducatwa more on art, especially kuiaccepta kuti art, people, everything we do is art, pasina art zvinenge zvakaoma kurarama, because as you can see anything chamunoona chingava kumota kudzimba chinotangira paart. It is very important to have a mentor, because you need to perfect your skill, and you also need guidance kuti zvinhu zvinofambiswa sei. Saka I think chinhu chakakosha kuva una mentor, and also kune ma-upcoming artists inototaura kuti rambai muchipusha, never give up, even zvikaomana kurwadza, you just need to kuramba uchipusha chete.
That is the story of one young artist. His name is Tawanda Madonira, here to pursue a career in art, and also speaking on the importance of mentorship.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food and travel.
So that was the exciting episode that we had for you on this episode of iAfrica. We gave you 3 individuals that are pushing boundaries, and hopefully they will encourage you to get on your own journey of pushing boundaries in whatever sphere of life that you're in, and especially if you're an artist. Be sure to join us again in the next serving of iAfrica as we continue pushing the Zimbabwe narrative, and most importantly, the African one. I am your host, Nicole Jamu. Enjoy the rest of your programming and continue being authentically African.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent. iAfrica presents creatives in their home nations, visiting renowned designers, musicians, architects who are leaving their mark on the young continent. From well-known brands through to ambitious startups, every week iAfrica seeks out the continent's best design and lifestyle innovations. Join me, your host Nicole Jamu, as we take a round trip across Africa and get you inspired, motivated, and future-oriented.